In a crowded courtroom on a humid summer morning, tension hung heavy as a black judge named Marcus Hayes took his seat to preside over a routine hearing. But for Marcus, nothing about life in this position was routine. Every decision, every word carried the weight of not just the law, but of the stereotypes and unspoken biases that people cast upon him. That morning, an impatient police officer stormed in to testify in a minor assault case. The officer, visibly frustrated, muttered under his breath about the court being too slow. Marcus calmly asked him to respect the process, but the officer, emboldened by his uniform, snapped back, and when the judge reminded him of decorum, the officer, in a shocking moment of arrogance, slapped a folder from Marcus's hand. Their eyes locked, and the courtroom froze. The bailiffs and attendees sat in stunned silence, unsure of what would happen next. But Marcus did not raise his voice, nor did he retaliate. He sat taller, breathed deeper, and looked directly at the officer with a steadiness that carried centuries of struggle and resilience. The officer suddenly realized the enormity of what he had done. It wasn't just disrespect to a judge. It was violence against dignity, against fairness, against the very justice system he claimed to serve. The silence weighed heavier than any shouted reprimand. Marcus leaned forward, and with a voice that was both unshaken and deeply human, he reminded everyone present that the power of the courtroom does not lie in the uniform of the officer, nor in the robes of the judge, but in the principle that every person is equal under the law. The officer's face drained of color, shame flooding his expression. He stammered an apology, his arrogance stripped away by the grace of a man who could have demanded his arrest, but chose instead to teach the room a lesson about humility and accountability for Marcus. This was not just about punishing an act. It was about exposing the fragile pride that so often hides behind authority and showing that true strength is restraint. The spectators, many of whom carried their own quiet prejudices, walked out changed. They had witnessed a black judge not just upholding the law, but embodying the spirit of justice with dignity and mercy. In the days that followed, the officer was disciplined by his department. But what he carried most heavily was not the penalty. It was the memory of looking into the eyes of a man he had underestimated and realizing he had struck, not just at an individual, but at his own conscience.